The mini reviews return to the world of B-movie king Roger Corman. Today I'm going to go into his produced road action movies. First up, one of the most well-known movies to have Corman's name on it, Death Race 2000. If anyone today knows about Death Race 2000, it would be because of the Jason Statham remake from 2008, which is okay, but it's not the same as Death Race 2000. The original is one of those low-budget 70s action films that takes place in what they perceived as the future. In this movie's idea of the year 2000, people have become so desensitized to violence that there's a televised racing event where 5 racers go across the country and gain points for how many people they hit. Depending on the age of the people they run over, they get a certain number of points. And every time they run somebody over, we cut to this TMZ reminding newscaster played by Don Steele who'd be like, "An amazing kill! A fantastic kill! Too bad he was only 38. 2 more years and he would have been worth half the points." Death Race 2000 is obviously meant to be a comedy that's meant to satirize people's obsession with violence on TV, while also being the thing it's making fun of, and on both notes, it does a pretty fun job. It's also the first starring role for David Carradine right after his stint on the show Kung Fu ended, and as Carradine himself put it, "I just had to do something completely different after playing that little Chinese guy for 4 years." Here, Carradine plays the reigning champion of the death race, a possibly disfigured but very charismatic racer known as Frankenstein. And just 1 year before he did the first Rocky movie, Sylvester Stallone appears as Frankenstein's arch-rival, a stereotypical Italian heavy with machine guns on his car who calls himself Machine Gun Joe. It's a twisted, fun comedy that I never get tired of watching over and over and always manages to make me smile. One of the funniest scenes is when this guy sees what appears to be a baby wrapped in a blanket and he goes, "Bye-bye, baby. Hello, 50 points!" And when Sylvester Stallone encounters a fan of the death race who mistakes him for Frankenstein, and he's like, "Lousy, stinking dirtball, you have 2 seconds to live!" And then he runs him down and runs his wheel right over the guy's crotch until we get a shower of blood spurting everywhere. So yeah, if you love a good, gory, twisted comedy, check Death Race 2000 out. Second movie up, what many people consider to be the unofficial sequel to Death Race 2000, Deathsport. This movie, to be precise, in this double feature DVD with Battle Truck or Warlords of the 21st Century, depending on which version you have. Deathsport takes itself more seriously than Death Race 2000, which makes a lot of the funny moments more unintentional, but still enjoyable. It's one of those movies you would have seen at a drive-in theater in the 70s. And while it's no work of art, I do find Deathsport to be just as enjoyable. In fact, I might even find it more enjoyable than Death Race 2000. It's pretty gritty, full of a lot of great 70s effects. Some of them look cheesy, but that's part of the fun, and some of them are actually still pretty impressive by today's standards. And the sound effects in this movie are actually pretty fantastic, very Star Wars-esque. The action in Deathsport is fucking awesome! The fight scenes are just extremely well choreographed. There are explosions everywhere. There are so many fireball explosions in Deathsport, I think I fucking lost count. And there are a lot of stunts that are impressive even by today's standard. And the reason many people consider this an unofficial sequel to Death Race 2000 is both movies star David Carradine. Both movies are about racing across a desert-like landscape, and they take place in a pretty shitty future. Big difference though, the means of racing across the countryside are motorcycles. And this film takes place in the year 3000 and takes place in a more post-apocalyptic future. And David Carradine's character is part of a group of people known as guides who have psychic powers. Yeah, I know it's silly, but when I watch Deathsport, the whole film is just so well paced, and the action is so amazing, the set work's so great, and everybody here is just screaming 70s action that anything that's silly, it's so little, I just let it slide. Like when they're in the desert, they encounter this tribe of cannibals, cannibal mutants. And how do you tell they're mutants? They have big, bulging eyes. The fake eyes look like the ones they put on the aliens from Killers from Space. That is how fake they look. And David Carradine does a great job playing a post-apocalyptic hero in this film, having a great beard, great long hair, wielding a sword, wielding laser guns, and having some great cheesy hero lines such as, like sand in the wind, keep moving. Deathsport had a lot of behind-the-scenes issues. They had to fire one director and bring another in, along with some screenwriting issues, and for everything that happened, I thought the film came out pretty well. And David Carradine's performance, I thought, came out actually pretty decent, considering, according to the film's co-director, Alan Arkish, David Carradine was smoking pot almost every day of filming. And the film is a good supporting cast. 70s actress Claudia Jennings, I think in one of her very last roles, plays the female guide. And the late great Richard Lynch plays the film's main villain, and an actor who always tried to bring 3-dimension to 2-dimensionally written characters. He does a great job. So I recommend Deathsport 2. It's a great 70s cheesy action film. Death Race 2000 is a great twisted comedy. Both movies that are a million times more enjoyable than The Dark Knight. Check them out if you can.